Hey friends, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Fit Life Orange County. And before I introduce today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, assuming you get value, so that way we can keep producing this content for you for free. Now, to introduce today's guest, who's a new friend of mine. I met her at Mission Viejo Fit Body Bootcamp, and she is a certified nutritional therapy practitioner, a nutrition expert, and really the founder and owner of Rising Roost Nutritional Coaching. And she's here today to give you a few common mistakes on nutrition so that we can overcome them, feel better, lose weight, and live a better quality of life. So, Andrea O'Donnell, welcome to the show.
Here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
And Andrea O'Donnell, welcome to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. Super excited to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Cool. Well, lots to talk about. This is obviously a local health and fitness show based here in Orange County, and we both are Orange County lovers. And we just met recently, actually, at boot camp. My team had reached out. You are a up and coming nutritional therapy practitioner here in Orange County, and this show is about health and fitness, and nutrition is so important. In fact, you are what you eat. We literally just talked about that old adage a second ago. So I want to dive in today, Andrea, and really just understand a little bit about your backstory. How did you get into nutritional coaching? What really sparked your interest, and how did you become a nutritional therapy practitioner?
So I wish I could say my story was a linear one, but it's not. I started out, I got my undergrad in marketing at San Diego State, and then I went on to earn my master's in counseling, and that kind of started my passion for helping people. And I worked in higher education for over a decade, working with students, which I absolutely loved. But there was always this passion for health and wellness. And I think what kind of triggered it was I had my own health hurdles that I had to overcome. And it was the frustration of me constantly going to doctors and telling me, you're fine, your lab works are fine, everything's fine. But obviously, I didn't feel fine. So I had to do all this research. So I really say, I have 10 plus years of experience in nutrition just because of my research and talking to anybody that would listen that's in the health and wellness field. And I just had this innermost passion to help others so they don't have to do the same journey that I did. And what happened was in actually 2021, with the whole pandemic happening, I went back to school, but not because of the pandemic. I just decided at that point in my life that I wanted to pursue something that I loved and I wanted to give back to my community. So I started the nutritional therapy practitioner program, and then the pandemic happened. So it was kind of like an all-in-one. And at that time, I decided to quit my 9-to-5 and take a leap of faith and start my business.
Oh, wow. Well, good on you. And certainly our country is in a big health crisis from my lens. Half our population is statistically obese, which certainly had a major effect with COVID and all the implications. So I really support and have a massive appreciation for your line of work and taking that leap of faith. I am curious though, Andrea, from your lens, because you talked about some health problems and all that, meaning you glow, you have such great energy, and I'm sure it's been a process, but we met at boot camp and you're working out and having a great experience. So what was, I guess, the Andrea 1.0, like, what kind of like health conditions you suffer with, or what was your big challenge? And I think it's really important to be able to showcase that to our audience, because let's face it, we all go through challenges in many aspects of life, including fitness. And then really, showcasing that, and then now where you are today. Would love to hear a little bit more there.
Yeah. So I am a big believer that stress plays a huge part in our health and well-being. And although nutrition is huge, and same with movement, stress kind of is like the trump on everything. So I experienced quite a bit of stress growing up. And even though I ate pretty healthy, I would think I grew up on liver, if that tells you anything, in a Hungarian home. And so I ate good. And then I went to college and discovered the standard American diet and just totally indulged on that, the 2 a.m. Belgian waffles and, all that in the dorms. And I started gaining weight, and I was getting frustrated and kind of, I don't know, I was low energy. I was not feeling good. I was bloated all the time. So a lot of digestive issues. Went to the doctors. Ran tests. Everything was normal. And then my husband and I got married, and we wanted to start to have kids. we were trying, and I was always working out my entire life. I was really big into fitness, and I thought I was eating healthy. So like I put that in quotes. And I wasn't able to conceive. So again, went to the doctor. They were telling me that my thyroid, I had low thyroid, hypothyroid. I didn't want to believe it. So I kind of went that against the grain. And then I finally gave in, went on medicine, and was able to get pregnant immediately. And that just kind of opened my eyes to just so much. So it wasn't just the medicine, but it was what I was eating, like what kind of food I was putting in my body, the vegetables, the fruit, the high quality fat, the protein, how we don't get enough protein. And, I'm sure we'll talk about that more, but there was a lot of things that I wasn't doing correct. But the big piece was the stress, because I was so stressed out about wanting to have a baby that I couldn't let my body relax. And so it's been a long journey, and it's a continuous journey. And that's one thing I will say, that there is no like stop and, hey, I'm cured and all that. But really learning how to manage stress, how to release, and letting go has been a huge part of my journey.
Oh, that's incredible. And I thank you so much for sharing that. Number one, for your vulnerability, but also two, for the ability for our audience to connect, because, we are going through challenges and struggles, and especially like a healthy and fit, vibrant person like yourself. If you've had some struggles, it means the average person does. So that's really important. Now, kind of shifting on, I definitely would love to, you're the founder of Rising Roots Nutrition. We're going to talk a little bit about, some of the products and services you offer in a second, but can you just kind of open up and just give your general, thoughts and philosophy on good nutrition? Because there's a lot of, different varying opinions out there. So we'd just love to kind of unpack the hood a little bit and really just allow you to provide some overall overarching philosophy that really provides some takeaways for our audience.
So that's kind of a loaded question, in the sense that one thing, as a nutritional therapy practitioner, we believe in bio-individuality. So I don't believe in a one size fits all. I would love to say that, keto is great for some, vegetarian, and there are certain aspects, but it really is up to the person and their body into what healthy looks like. But I will say there are foundations, I should say, that I focus on, mainly for a healthy digestion, blood sugar, fatty acids, looking at mineral balance, hydration. So the first one would be to make sure that you're hydrated. Most people, I would say, are not adequately hydrated. They think that they drink, two of those little plastic bottles for the day, and they're working out, and it's just not enough. But on top of that, it's what is in the water. So the electrolytes that we're drinking, because our body really needs the magnesium and phosphorus and sodium levels, the right sodium levels, and not a Gatorade bottle, because that's just extra sugar. So that's really important. And that's kind of the first thing that I actually look at with clients. Secondly is the sugar. We all know, like you're talking about, with the COVID pandemic, and it's not just COVID. This is an overall health epidemic that we have, I believe, in our country. And that is, we just consume too much processed foods and sugar, and that really impacts our insulin, and it impacts everything in our body. And over time, that sugar and leads to inflammation, which leads to chronic disease. So that's the second one, is reducing sugar and processed foods and really going to a whole food diet. But a lot of people just think a whole food diet is a whole bland diet. It's just chicken and broccoli, and they're like, this is horrible. I can't eat this for the rest of my life. And that is so far from it. I'm sure and one thing that makes it even better, what I believe in, is having high quality fat. So adding the butter onto your broccoli, the high quality grass fed butter, adding grass fed yogurt if you can tolerate dairy, and avocados, adding that to your sourdough bread with some eggs. Like, those little things can make a meal go from to, so that's something that I work with people on, is nutrition doesn't have to be a boring, bland diet. You can make it amazing. Also, nutrition incorporates, again, mindfulness. So meditation, yoga, going for walks, getting out in nature, breathing. I'm actually in school right now to become a breathwork facilitator. So that's something I really believe in. Movement. You can't have nutrition without moving your body. It's vital. That's why I absolutely loved your boot camp. I tried it out, and not just the community of people, but just the overall facility has just been phenomenal. So I think that's a part of nutrition as well.
Totally. Well, I love that, and for a variety of different ways. And I think you provided some really good, tangible takeaways for our audience members to really pay attention to and to look out for. Because especially even going back to the most basic level of nutrition, which is really hydration, I completely agree. Being in the fitness game professionally since 2010, there's so many clients. I would say vast majority are just under hydrated, and that causes a lot of problems. So appreciate your guidance there. I want to unpeel one of the questions that you mentioned about there's really not a one size fits all, which I could not agree with you more. So when you're working with a client, and this is kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of really the services you offer, which I think is a great opportunity. How do you identify, if a client, has, this issue or that issue? What is the, I guess, protocol or the things that you look for? Maybe there's tests that you provide a client on the intaking process to really identify, okay, dairy works for you but maybe not for you, or the keto would be a great opportunity for you or not for you. How do you really process that from your perspective?
That's a great question. So to kind of walk you through like the services part of it. So before I do anything, I always want to meet with a person first and what we call like a discovery call. So really, I want to understand what are somebody's health goals, what are their current concerns, and also sharing like my philosophy and my services to see if we're a good fit. Because I'm a huge believer that you have to have a good relationship or it's not going to work out. And so I want to make sure that we're on the same page, and I'm looking for things such as, are they motivated to change? Because that's a huge piece of it. You have to really want to change, because even though I believe health can be simple, it's not easy in some regards. And so you have to have the motivation, and then I'm here to provide the support and to be your cheerleader. So that's the first piece of it. And then going, if we move forward, then I do send paperwork. So I send what we call a nutritional assessment questionnaire, which is a really long symptom-based assessment where it's really going into the nitty-gritty of how people are feeling, that they don't even realize that certain things, for example, dandruff or waking up in the middle of the night, or I mean, there's so many different ones that are impacting them. They don't realize that that's not necessarily normal, even though it's common. And so there's like a difference in that. So they go through that, and that actually provides me this really beautiful, it's called a symptoms burden graph. Now, as an NTP, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not able to diagnose or treat any conditions, but I can support them in their health journey. So what that means, if I'm working with somebody who has diabetes, they need to still work with their doctor, but I can support them on a holistic nutritional level to make sure, that their insulin is becoming more sensitive, right? So I say that because that's, it's very important. But this graph will point out, certain organs like either blood sugar or small intestine, kidney, liver, gallbladder, areas that we can support. Then they also do an initial intake form, similar to a doctor, where it's more of like the family history and medical history. And then last, which I think is one of the most important parts, is the food and mood journal. So I ask clients to write down what they're eating for a few days. And it's not fun, but it really gives me a kind of a clue into what's going on in their life, because oftentimes people lose this mind to body connection. We're hustling, we're in the game, we're working, we're doing, and we don't even realize that this yogurt that we're eating is causing bloating, or the bread that we're eating, the gluten is causing digestive reaction. We don't realize it because we're just going and we're not writing it down. So writing that down, they talk about what time they wake up, when they go to bed, how are they feeling in the morning? Do they wake up energized? Are they really tired at 2 o'clock? Do they feel like they want to take a nap and they're going for that second coffee? So all these kind of clues for me is really important. And then I put that together, and then we have our initial consultation, which is an hour and a half. And that's where going through and I'm asking them questions and I really just want to learn more about them. So that's where the bio individuality starts coming in is I'm going through this and I'm saying, well, tell me more about these symptoms. Tell me more about your family history. Or, you said that you're waking up in the middle of the night. Is this every day? Is it a few times a day? Is it when you're stressed? Let's talk about that. And then from there, I put everything together and we sit down for an hour recommendation visit. And it's an hour for a reason because I can create a meal plan and just send it them away and say, okay, I'll see you. But I don't believe in that. I really, again, it's that symbiotic relationship. And so I say, here are some short-term and long-term goals that I think would really benefit you based on these reasons. Show them the graph, what I'm seeing, but not everybody's ready to make all these changes. With some people, we need to start slower. Some people are ready to dive in and they want to clean out their whole pantry and, go for it. So you want to meet that person where they are. And on a bio-individual basis, I may say, okay, well, you're taking these medicines. I'm not telling you to stop it, but how can we support you this way through food? Or I'm saying, hey, let's try taking away gluten for a couple weeks and seeing how you feel. Not forever, just to see how you feel. Are you open to that? So again, it's that dialogue.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, Andrea. And that just being in the coaching game for such a long time, that is just the purebred, awesome coach that really listens first, seeks to understand, because I agree. Humans, I mean, from a behavioral perspective, from a DNA perspective, from biological perspective, of course, there's many similarities. We all come from the same species. However, there's a lot of differences as well. So meeting that client where you're at or where they're at, I think is so important.
What's up, my friend? Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that I began my journey as a fitness transformation story. You see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life. It's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. In fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee that you will lose at least 15 pounds in 12 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now thanks, and back to the show.
So I want to unpack the coaching element a little bit. But before I do, and we talked about the individuality, but taking a step back, what would you say are some common issues that you see when you're working with a client for the first time specific to nutrition?
I would say that probably the most things that I see is the hydration is the first and foremost. People are, like I said, they're not hydrated. And I don't think people realize how much hydration impacts the body. It's not just from a thirst perspective, but flushing out toxins, the dry skin, hair, nails, like it impacts everything, our organs, even energy wise. So that's kind of a common thing I usually see with people. Secondly, they're not moving enough. So that's something that we talk about too. And again, like I said, it's not just a nutrition recommendation. I'm also looking at lifestyle. So we're talking about, how are they moving? When are they moving? We talk a lot about stress. Again, that's one of the questions I ask is their stress levels. So we talk about what they're doing. We talk about community and self-care. What kind of support do they have outside of me? I think that's really important. We talk about a little bit about environmental toxins, but that's kind of like later on down the line, but I bring that up as in that's, a key piece as well. So all that to say, hydration is a common one I see. Cholesterol is a common one that people come to me with. But what I see is the biggest issue, more so than cholesterol, is a lack of protein and a lack of fat. So a lot of people are really good at consuming carbs in all sorts of ways. As you know, there's simple and complex carbs. So people eat, let me just rephrase that. Like one of the things that I really sets me apart, I believe, is I'm really into education and empowering people through education. So when I work with somebody, one of the most basic things that I will see, like I said, protein and fat, is I will be like, okay, can you tell me what's on your plate right now. Can you point out a protein, a fat, and a carb? And a lot of times people don't. They don't know how. They don't understand. So even that simple thing can be huge for somebody, and understand, like, okay, you're eating vegetables as a carb, but where's the protein? And what does protein do, and why is it important? And where's the fat? And then why is that important? So I would say there's not enough protein and fat. And then I said movement, too much stress. Yeah, I'd say
Well, that's
I'd say those are the pretty common ones.
yeah, that's a fair share. And I
And
also
sugar.
well,
Yeah.
sugar's the culprit for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
It's good,
right.
especially showing varying degrees of your nutritional support. I also really buy into like a holistic approach, because nutrition is one aspect, a very important aspect of your overall health and wellness. And kudos to you. You can just feel your energy, Andrea, and your care, if you will, which I know goes a long way in terms of getting your clients results. So speaking of which, actually, two-part question. Why, and I guess why specifically, and what is the common goal of someone who reaches out to you? What are they trying to accomplish in terms of getting coaching from you? And then would love to hear a client success story or two, because that always is very enticing, and we learn a lot in the process.
Yeah. So again, it's hard to say one type of goal that people come to me with. Like, I currently see clients from 26 to 68, male and female. So they're all coming with different health needs. I'd say that in majority, I work with a lot of people with digestive issues. That's fairly common, and I'd say more what I'm focused on. But I have people mostly coming to me with energy issues. So they're really low energy. They've kind of lost their motivation to work out or to do their favorite hobbies. They're waking up in the middle of the night, so a lot of sleep issues. Cholesterol, like I said, if we're talking lab markers, that's the most common one that I receive is, oh my gosh, my doctor wants to put me on this medicine. I don't want to do it. What can we do to lower my cholesterol? So that's a very common one. Weight loss. Oh yeah, I forgot that one. So I'd say almost every single one of my clients wants to lose weight. But my big thing is, I'm very upfront in telling them, you may not lose 20 pounds in a month. That's not how I work. I work on sustainable long-term weight loss. So, I don't calorie count. I don't just give them a meal plan and just send them on their way. That's just not how I work. I really try to, again, educate them on what they're putting in their body to nourish. But that's something I do work with. So speaking of that, one of my clients, their success stories, they came to me with almost all those things. So very low in energy. They were bloated. So like I said, digestion's a big one. They're bloated. They were gassy, constipated all the time. Their family has a predisposition to diabetes. So they were kind of worried, and they were younger, saying, I don't want to get this, but it's inevitable, which it's not. And they wanted to lose some weight as well, but they're like, I just lost kind of this motivation. I just need help feeling myself again. And that's a common thing I hear. So we worked together, and in less than 2 months, it was a male, lost 20 pounds. And we didn't do anything special except for literally change what food he was putting into his body. He ate the standard American diet, a lot of soda, a lot of processed foods, a lot of fast food. That was pretty much his entire diet: pizza, hamburgers, that type of food. And so we changed it around. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, how is this going to work? And now I'm still working with this person, and it's been 7 months. They've stayed with me, and they actually enjoy it. They love the food that they're eating. So that's been huge. But so they lost weight. Their lab markers improved. So their vitamin D was low, and that improved. Their overall sleep improved. Their energy, their motivation. They even signed up to a gym, and they started working out again. So I feel what they said is they haven't felt this good since college. That they just felt like almost like themselves again. That was the best way I can say it. So that was wonderful. And then another client I have who I'm thinking of is a little bit different. She was older, retired, again, wanted to lose a few pounds. Typical like Orange County, not to say that thing, but just a few pounds. So, but for her, it was again constipation, bloating. She was waking up 3 to 4 times in the night, every single night, and was just tired during the day, especially around 2 o'clock. So we worked a lot on her blood sugar. And again, in less than 3 months, she lost 5 pounds, which was more than she was going for 3, but in a sustainable way. She wasn't focusing on calories. She wasn't restricting herself. She felt more satiated. She was sleeping throughout the night. She, for the first time, she says in over 40 years, she was using the restroom regularly, and the bloating went down. She was feeling energetic and just had this like new hope, I guess you can call it, like with life. And so it was just, and let me just say this. We checked her. We weren't even really looking at cholesterol. We were looking at other lab markers, but her overall cholesterol went down 35 points. Her LDL went down 18 points, and her triglycerides went down 29 points.
Woo!
So that was remarkable. She was just like blown away, and it was high, but again, that wasn't her number one focus. So it just shows you focus on one symptom and we work on that, but there's so many other symptoms over here that are also going to improve.
Yeah, because you're really working at the foundation of someone's health and fitness, that all these symptoms like bubble up, but really if you look at the root, which I love. And I just get so passionate when I hear that because, from my perspective, Andrea, fitness is your really gateway to a better life. The healthier, the more fit, the more energy you have. That's not the whole purpose of life, but that really opens up the doors for you to live a higher quality of life. So just sharing a couple of those success stories fires me up, being really dedicated to health and fitness and really spreading that word. So I appreciate that in you. I still have a few more minutes with you. I want to transition to the lightning round if you're up for it, with some last, questions to extract some good knowledge from you. Does that work?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Well, I can clearly tell that you're passionate about health and fitness and energy and just living your best life. And that could be your answer. But what is your biggest passion today, these days specifically, and why?
I'd say, my biggest passion, I think, is and always will be health and wellness, because it is so broad that I'm continuously learning every single day. And the more I learn, the more I want to learn, if that makes any sense. Like it's endless. And I just get so excited every time I work with a client. And, I don't know everything, and I'm not claiming to know everything. I know like foundations, and I'm learning as I go. So I do a lot of research on the back end. And when I'm learning something new and we try something out with a client, because again, that bio-individual, and we see the progress and change, that just makes my year. And to hear not just see, but hear the results, from them, and see it. That one client was telling me about, like, he was so excited because his acne improved. And he was like, oh my gosh, my family keeps telling me how my face is glowing. I haven't had this since I was 9 years old. And to see that excitement on their face is what's my passion. So, and like I said, it's these little pieces of it. So right now, like I said, I'm learning breathwork facilitation. That's my current passion, is learning how the breath really helps to reduce stress, and how it gets to the cellular level of the autonomic nervous system. Like, to me, that, like, I just love it. So yeah, I'd say that's my passion, and of course my children and my family.
Aw, love that. Couldn't agree with you more on just the ever-ending amount of knowledge that you can acquire to really better your life within the health and fitness space, and the fact that you're diving into breath work at the moment, but I'm sure other passions will continue to surface. To your point. Now, next up, even though you are a nutrition expert and I'm sure eat very healthy the vast majority of the time, I love asking this question to health coaches and fitness coaches, but what is your favorite quote unquote cheat meal, Miss Andrea?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I don't like to call it cheating because, I just believe that this relationship it's okay to indulge once in a while, right? It's all about moderation and balance. And yes, I do eat clean, most of the time. But when I do indulge, I love to have some dark chocolate. I love ice cream, and I make some paleo gluten-free cookies. So chocolate chip cookies are kind of like my vice. Like I love a good warm chocolate chip cookie with some ice cream on top, some non-dairy ice cream, and I'm like, okay, you got me.
Good, cool. Love that. And I'm a sucker for sweets as well. That's my guilty pleasure. Um, Next up, on the other side of the coin, what's a unique value bomb that most people should know about nutrition, but for whatever reason, they don't?
I would say that again, nutrition is not a one size fits all. That there are foundations in place and certain parameters that we should all be striving towards, which again is that whole foods, whole living. So focusing on managing our stress, getting outside and moving, being one with nature. So those things I think holistically would benefit everyone. Spending time with loved ones, supporting each other, um, finding your community. So I believe in all that. And then, but knowing that we're all different. So just because this is working over here for one person doesn't mean it has to be for that person. Like, a lot of people are on this gluten-free thing, which I'm gluten-free because I need to be, but it doesn't mean everybody needs to be gluten-free. That there's so much junk out there that's labeled gluten-free. So really, again, looking at what it is that you're putting in your body, because marketing is really smart about twisting things to making it sound healthy. So I think making sure that you're reading your labels, when you're buying food, looking at the ingredient list is so important. Trying to buy some stuff with no sugar, like buy bacon with no sugar. You don't need the sugar in the bacon, so looking at what you're buying, trying to buy in the perimeter of a grocery store. Those I think that nutritionally everybody should be doing.
Cool. All right. One local Orange County question before I finish off with a couple of fitness and health questions. We're in Orange County. This is a beautiful place. It's a local show. Where can we find you and your family hanging out on the weekend? Would love just a good glimpse of maybe a diamond in the rough that we're not aware of, and we'd love you to share.
Ooh, I don't know about diamond in the rough, but I'm not originally from Orange County. I'm from San Diego, but it's not that far away. So it's actually been pretty cool to really discover Orange County and all these diamond in the roughs in these last 6 years that we've been up here. We love going to on hikes. So, Mission Viejo, there's some really great hiking spots that we go to, or we ride bikes. Don't ask me the name right now, but it's like Oso Creek Trail, I think. And we go to San Clemente, the beach, and we enjoy there. Let's see, we like to be outdoors a lot. So whenever we can get out, we go to the Mission Viejo Lake, which I think is kind of a diamond in the rough because people don't know about it. But if you're a resident, it's a pretty awesome place to go, especially in the summer because it's not that crowded. So that's one of our favorite places to go in the summer. And we just like to go explore. So, we'll just, like this weekend, it's going to, actually rain here in Orange County. And we're thinking about going up to the mountains to go see some snow. So that's, we're going to go explore that and maybe go to bowling, on the weekend too. So there's always something to discover.
Totally. Cool. All right. Want to flip it back to, rising nutrition. If someone's listening to today is like, you know what, I really want to work on Andrea. I really connected with her. I need some deeper work. I need to lower my cholesterol, or just get a better nutrition plan. I need to, have more energy. You need to lose some weight, whatever the case may be. Where can, our audience find you? Do you have a website and then social media? And then would love to be able to provide a special offer in terms of working together for our listeners. So would love to hear when I contact you in that next step.
Yeah, so they can find me on my website, which is Rising Roots Nutrition, all one word.com. Or they can find me on Instagram, which is at Rising Roots Nutrition. So everything is Rising Roots Nutrition. On Facebook, Rising Roots Nutrition. Yeah, I'd say that's the best. If they want to book a discovery call, they can go onto my website and they can easily book a free 20-minute discovery call. And then for my services, so I currently offer 2 3-month packages and a 6-month package. And the difference between the 2 3 months really is, one is best for virtual clients. So I do see some clients outside of the area. And then the other one is for local clients. And one thing I wanted to say with an additional service that I offer is, on top of doing these recommendation visits, and we do biweekly check-ins, and we every 2 weeks we talk for 50 minutes just to see where they're at, and then we do a reevaluation halfway through to see if we need to tweak the recommendations and how their goals are. Those have changed too. But on top of that, with one of my services that I offer, I do grocery store tours. So that's something that's, I think, been one of the most favorite things for my clients and myself, is we go to their favorite grocery store and we spend 2 hours there. We literally go aisle by aisle and we talk about, again, the ingredients and labels. And maybe there's a favorite tomato sauce that they grew up with, but we talk about, is it good or is there a healthier alternative? We talk about popular brands or brands that I, typically use and why. I also do a pantry clean out. So I go to their home and I don't throw things away, but we talk about, again, if it's in your home, you're likely to consume it. So what are healthier alternatives to the snacks that you're munching on? We talk about pots and pans. This is where the environmental toxins comes in, and cleaning supplies, and what's in the home that could potentially be harming your health. So that's something that I offer as well. And then I also offer supplements, and I do offer a greater discount to my clients on supplements if it's needed. So all that to say that, if people find me here, which I hope they do, and they reach out, I am happy to offer an additional month for free. So instead of 3 months, it's a 4-month package with me, or a 7-month package if you're doing the 6-month. And that really will give us the opportunity to dive in deeper together, to really work on those pillars of wellness, to get deeper into the mindset and the environmental toxins, because it can be overwhelming. As you know, when you're working with somebody, you don't want to just have them change everything overnight, because that's not sustainable. But making these small changes, and so we get to work together longer in that.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for hooking up with our audience. And, if you're listening to this, just reference the Orange Life or Fit Life Orange County podcast show. And Andrea will be able to take care of that with a special offer. So thank you so much for that. So, Andrea, this has been a pleasure. I have one last question. Would love, your feedback, being a local health and fit show. What does living a healthy and fit life mean to you?
Living a healthy and fit life is really about progress, not perfection. It's about finding something that you love to do, a hobby. So if it's boot camp, yoga, dance, whatever it is, doing something that you love to do that's active, getting outside, that will help you to grow personally. But it's also balancing that with the mindfulness and enjoying life and being with loved ones, and not working too hard. There's a balance in there of enjoying life to the fullest. And same thing with nutritionally, eating as clean as you can, enjoying it because you feel that good food, but also indulging, having the sweets, the chocolate chip cookie or the flourless chocolate cake or whatever it is, and when you're having it, enjoy it, enjoy this moment. So it's all about the progress, not perfection.
I love that. Well, wise, sage advice, Andrea, and that's a perfect, segue to finish the show. And I just want to first and foremost thank you so much, acknowledge you for being on today, for who you are. And granted, we're new friends, but just the way you show up the last few times of interaction. When I first met you at boot camp, your energy is radiant, and it's no surprise that clients want to work with you. And of course, that you have your own health and fitness in check, because when you have your own health and fitness in check, everything gets better in life. So I want to thank you and acknowledge you for just the way you show up, and really pushing our mission forward to, our mission here on the show is to inspire fitness and change lives. And you are certainly doing that as well. So thank you so much again.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, friends, I know you got a ton of value. Assuming you do, give our channel on YouTube a like and subscribe, and better yet, share this with someone who's in maybe a big need of a dark place. They want a better quality of life. They need some help with nutrition, with fitness, whatever the case may be. We want to spread the word and get more people in Orange County and beyond healthy and fit. So please like and subscribe, and better yet, share and write an awesome review on iTunes. We'd be super grateful. And again, Andrea, thank you so much. And my friends, we will see you in the next episode.